Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Danita Inez with Desueño Dance, and I wanted to create just an open letter for all of my wonderful follows out there. Now, traditionally in dance, there are two roles that are danced simultaneously. One is the role that is crafting a maneuver and through nonverbal cues passes it to another person, which is the follower role. And the follower is in charge of interpreting those signals, those cues, to create something beautiful. And there are some really beautiful things that happen within the dance that I don't think followers get enough credit for. But I want to talk directly to you all today. Yes! So we can discuss them, especially for my newbies out there. Hey, newbies! So when you're dancing as a follower, it's really important to understand the importance of your role, because without you, there's no dance. What? There's no dance. You're important. And a lot of times I've been hearing a few things where I was out dancing at an event and a gentleman came up to me and wanted to follow because I lead and follow. And I said, okay, cool, because it doesn't matter your gender in order to do that role. So I began to lead this particular gentleman, and he said, oh, wait, I have to turn my brain off. What? No, he didn't just say that. What? But it felt like a direct reflection of whatever it was that someone taught him that followers do. I said, followers do not turn their brains off. If you are in anyone's class and someone says, turn your brain off, run. One, that's not possible. Please don't turn your brain off. You need to be alive. Yes, living to be able to dance and move and be blessed in order to do so. Yes, yes. Please keep your brain functioning, firing, synapses growing. By no means do you ever want to turn your brain off. Now, there have been times where people say, well, if you're a follower, you just don't need to think, you just need to follow. And I was like, huh? That's kind of oxymoron, considering being a follow means you have to interpret the signals that the leader of the dance, which to me, the person crafting the moves at the moment, is giving to you. But they're all non-verbal. They're non-verbal for the most part. So that means you are literally drawing this information, taking it in, digesting it, and giving a particular output based on those signals. That takes some thought. It takes your brain processing that. So followers are doing a lot of things. Sometimes when you'll hear people say those things, a lot of times those are the first people to be like, but I want to go dance with a good follow. I was like, well, if there's such thing as a good follow or not good follow, then that means that they're doing things differently. That person just doesn't have their brain off. They're making specific choices that result in what you're going to deem either as a better dance versus a dance that might not be what you expected it to be. So follows, make sure you're in classes where people are treating you as a vital part of the dance, as a integral part of the dance that does need to learn things in order to do your job better. So if you're out there dancing, make sure, or taking a class, make sure you're with an instructor who will take time to demonstrate your footwork and then to say why some things works, why you would pick this connection versus another connection, or why your momentum should be going in a certain way versus another way. You should be with someone who can explain those things to you and demonstrate your footwork accurately in a way that works. If it doesn't work, or if you get it's kind of like this, that might not be the best class for you to learn in a way that's going to progress you further on in your dance career, because you do want to be doing a few things, well, that we all want to be doing. Number one is dancing safely. Yes. So one of those things that I got used to telling the followers in my classes is to make sure that you take some agency in your dance. Listen to your body, listen to yourself in terms of the things that you've learned, and put them together. You're kind of like a detective, is what I say, right? There's a person who's dropping clues, sending signals, and you are picking up all those clues. Got it, got it, got it, got it, right? To interpret what those moves are, what those things are. So if you get some warning signals, warning, this feels wild, there are some things that you should do to make sure that you maintain the opportunity to have a safe dance. Some of those things are disengaging, let go. No, but seriously, you can disengage. There have been, if you're put into a position that hurts or is starting to manipulate a joint or a bony connection that should not be manipulated in the way that that person in the crafting role is trying to manipulate it, disengage, let go, preserve your body. Please do so. It is okay. Oh, that becomes a misconnection. That is much better than to say, ooh, ow, that hurt. Yes, once the hurt has occurred, there's not much you can do in that immediate moment once it happens to fix it, like beforehand. It's better. Because then after, you're going to have to deal with the hurt as the primary thing versus having prevention. Prevention is important. So if you ever get into a moment where you're like, my body doesn't move like this, and you know that, disengage. There are some things that I, as a professional, teach only in like my classes. I wouldn't teach it out as at, let's say, a club lesson, things like that, like a hammerlock, because it has the potential to hurt someone if they don't understand how to properly lead it or properly follow it. So, great example, when you're doing your hammerlock and you're in, if you feel someone take that arm that's behind your back and pull or twist it, guess what? Let it go. Yes, and if you're in classes, it's a really good thing if you have a teacher who will let you know, like, heads up, if you ever start to feel this, let go. Or if you are in this position, follows, you can do XYZ, variety of options, to make sure that you are indeed having that number one thing that we need to do, period, across the board, which is have a safe dance. A safe dance can be a fun dance. Safe dance can be, you know, an energizer dance. It can be, you know, maybe your warm dance, whatever it is that you want your dance to be. If it's not safe, it's not going to fill out any of those other lists for you. So making sure that as follows, we do think about those things, and that as instructors, you're taking the time to communicate and educate about those things. That's really important. So for my follows, y'all, you have a lot of work that you do within the dance, and it should be validated. That's what we do. Yes. And if anyone ever says, no, follows only do this, we'll ask them, what's the difference between a good follow? Because once you start to articulate those things, it's really telling. Tells a lot. So for my followers, or people who are doing the role of being a follow, I really do encourage you to dive into what that means in terms of your personal connection what is actually happening within the dance, and make sure that you yourself are knowledgeable about it. And if that knowledge is coming from directly from your instructor, or if it's coming from your personal experience once you're out on the dance floor, make sure that you're, yes, using your brain. I know you are, but that you're thinking about it in a way that is letting you recognize that you are just as important as the person crafting whatever move is going on, right? You have a voice in this dance, and it is up to you to make sure that you don't let anybody start to dim that. You're not just a follow. You are a follow, but you are more than that. You're that detective. You're the person who's going to interpret and to fill out the dance, to add flourishes, to add depth and spice, and to make sure you have a balanced dish. You know, I bring things back to food, right? You're not gonna have this one note. That's not who you are. You're going to have all the deliciousness. You're gonna have your umami, your savor, your sweet, and those are the things that bring you a full, delicious experience on the dance floor. All right. So I want you to be proactive in the skills that you're learning. Be proactive in where you're learning. If you go to a class and you feel like your instructor has ignored you 90% of the time, maybe look for another class. Because your role is very important. Your role is vital to the dance. And if you're not being given those tools where you're at, it can be very difficult for you to keep going on your journey and to end up where you want to be, because we all have different goals for our dance journey, and your goal may be different than the person next to you in class, and that's fine. But even if it is different, you want to make sure that your first goal, which I think should be part of everyone's goal, is to have a safe dance experience, to give and receive a safe dance experience. So if we can do that first and foremost, then we can proceed on the journey of your goal, whether that's to go on to become a great social dancer, to be able to dance with anyone, or to be able to go travel and dance, which is what a lot of my clients like to do. They want to be able to go to any country in the world and be able to dance with people well. That is a beautiful place to be, if that's your goal. But at the base of all those goals is giving and receiving that safe dance. So make sure that you are getting instruction that will help you along that path and will make you stronger as a detective of the dance, as that person who interprets and who adds so much flavor to the dance. All right. So you're important. Your role is important. And if you are deciding to learn that role of follower, that role of being that detective, that you give respect to it, because without that role, the dance doesn't occur. It needs time, it needs attention and respect. So let's go ahead and give it the respect it deserves. Yes. So for all my followers out there, keep working. All right. And there are teachers who will teach you in the way that definitely respects this dance, because there are some wonderful high-level follows who are constantly thinking on their feet, reacting quickly, and people are like, wow, looks amazing. That's amazing follow. Go back to that question. Well, what is it that that person is doing that makes it amazing? Because they're making choices. And it's usually not a cosmetic choice, right? But what I'm saying is, look at those things, their reactions to certain movements, how they react, their tension, their connection, their footwork. There's so much that goes into creating that nice, solid experience as a crafter of this dance. So you have a role in this dance. It is also your dance. All right. Yes, Anywho, there's so much more I can say on this topic, but I want you to have a beautiful, productive rest of your day, friends. Keep on dancing, and I'll see you on the dance floor.